Hello everyone, it's June and it is time to build the Dalek. We've got some nice pieces coming up, so let's get started. The next part of the build is going to start to create the skirt and waist area of the Dalek. Because of the way that they are having us manufacture these parts, this bumper piece that is on here is actually not needed for now. So that is actually going to get removed. So we're actually sort of going back a step by taking this off. So now this is going to leave easy access to all of these T-shaped pieces here. And our very first step for this month is to get 4 posts put onto these 4 connecting spots. Here are the parts for step number 71. These 4 columns are going to support the upper section of the Dalek. Adding these columns to the frame is actually quite straightforward. They're going to go directly onto the connecting bracket, and go ahead and get the screw put in as well. This being at a slight angle does make it a little bit more difficult, but it goes in quite easily. There we go. You don't need to see me putting in the other 3, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. So I found that the small screwdriver that was provided in the toolkit that we got as a free gift worked nicely for being able to get these screws in. The head of the screwdriver is just a little looser fit in the screws, and because of the odd angle that it had to be at, that it was actually beneficial. And then I was able to come in with the smaller screwdriver here and be able to finally tighten everything down nicely so that each of these columns is nice and tight. I think, not that I think Hachette will actually ever see this video, but I really think that they should have had us put these columns on earlier, when it would have been a lot easier to attach them to the posts. But it is now put together, and that is the end of step number 71. On to step number 72. So this is the part for part 72. Singular, yes, this is the only piece that is in step number 72. This is a very large piece, and this is going to be allowing us to have wires come up and down through the mechanism. I believe this is where the battery is going to be able to be inserted. I think there's a circuit board that's going to be going into this section here. This looks like a compartment for something, and it's also got an opening here, so there could be something going into that as well. So we will see what happens with this piece, and going on to attaching this onto the rest of the Dalek is actually going to be quite simple. For the assembly of step number 72, It is quite simply a matter of taking our large plate that we have here, and each of these 4 sockets goes onto the 4 columns. And with that, that is the end of step number 72. On to step number 73. Here are the parts for step number 73. We have these 2 long rods that are going to start creating the angle of the skirt. We have these bracket pieces that are going to help hold the skirt panels in place, as well as the semicircles, the semidomes that are going to be on the outside of the skirt. Then we have 2 other brackets that attach to the top of the Dalek, along with screws and a couple of bolts and screws that are going to hold everything together. On these long brackets, they have actually labeled this so that it's knows exactly which pieces are going where. That's the A1. And then on the these bracket pieces, you can see that this is A2, number 2, number 1. So all of these go together. So these 4 go together, these 4 go together. So without any further ado, let's get this put together. So to start with, I'm going to take the rod A1, and the first section that is going to go onto it is A1 1-1, and this is going to sit in place like this. Turn this over and then come in through the space here and attach the screw. And now just a matter of moving right down the line. Number 2. Add a screw onto the screwdriver. And then finally here at the top bracket is going to go into place. And that's all set in place for A1. So now, go ahead and do the same thing for A2. And that is A2 all completed as well. So now it's time to attach these to the actual frame. So as I had said before, these are labeled A1 and A2. So this is A1. A1 is going to go into this area here. So in order to set this in, it's got to go into the bottom section first, and then the top piece then drops directly into the frame here. A2, of course, is going to go in the same way, and that drops down into place just like that. And that creates those flat areas for those panels to go onto. Now, I've watched people build full-size Daleks that they can get into, and it's interesting that these pieces are coming down the center, whereas when I've seen people build these for full size, if they put any kind of framework in, if they're doing a wooden type of body, the framework seems to be more in the corners, and then the panels then go on to it from there. And of course, the way it was done in production on the actual show, this is a fiberglass shell, so there was none of this in there to begin with. So this is a nice way to do it for the model. So to go ahead and actually attach all of this, again, we're going to have the screws going in here at the top. Now I have glued a lot of different parts together on this build, and this would be a logical part to go ahead and glue into place. But I think for now I'm going to go ahead and just leave it with just the screws in case for some reason I do need to take it apart. This would be a big area that I might have to take apart at some point. I'm not entirely sure what for, but just in case. So I think for now I'm not going to glue any of this together. I'm just going to put it together the way that they designed it with the screws. So that takes care of the top. Now for the bottom, we actually have some nuts and bolts that are going to go in. So that's going to go through here. And then the nut driver that they provided us in the little toolkit, can hold on to that. And that goes together quite nicely. So at this point, I am actually standing up to be able to do this bit of the work. And we have a couple of spare pieces. So that is the end of step number 73. Moving on into step number 74. Here are the parts for step 74. They're exactly the same as step 73, only this is now B1 and B2, but the rest of the setup is the same and the assembly is going to be the same. So let's go ahead and get this put together. So the two A columns are in place. The B columns are now going to go on either side. So this is B2, and B2 goes in this front section here. So just as before, that's going to slip down into place here. And then B1 will slide into place over on this side. these screws in. And now the screws that go down into the bottom here are put into place, just as was done with A. And with that, that is the end of step number 74. Hang on just a moment and see how the skirt and the bumper sections all look together. So now with the bumper set back into place, you can see how this is really starting to take shape and take form. Next month, we have more vertical pieces to put into place. And then that's going to get wrapped up in August with the last sections in the back. And then it's going to soon be time to start putting the panels in place. So please come back and join me again. Take care, everybody.